been a while. I'm gonna give you guys a quick status update on the Drunk Frog. This is kind of a side burner project I got going on. This will probably take a year or so to complete. Got a bigger project I'm working on right now that's taking priority. It's kind of top secret right now, but you'll find out soon enough what it is. Got everything gutted off the Frog here. Powertrain, pretty much everything. It's just an empty shell. The rear axle is pulled out. Had to cut the front glacis panel to get it out, but that'll be removed. The front differential. It's definitely taken its fair share of use and abuse over the past 2 years. Didn't hold anything back from an operator standpoint. Got the tracks ripped off over there. Those will probably be getting upgraded too. Sprocket wheels I'll probably keep the same. Nothing's really changed. I mean, they've been holding up good. But yeah, when I started this project, I really didn't have any intention of what I wanted from this tracked vehicle, besides just building a tracked vehicle. So what I got planned now from the 3 years of learning, mucking about with this thing, it's going to be more utilitarian driven. It's going to be a mid-engine drive unit, cab on the front, pickup bed on the back. And first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hack the tub from about there, extend it out with some additional paneling, add a fourth road wheel, going to add steel torsion bar suspension axles on there. So it'll give me a good, 12 to 14 inches of suspension travel off of it compared to, say, a trailer torsion axle, which only gives you about 2 or 3 inches of travel. Plus, it's going to be a lot more rugged. And there's no point in half-assing it by just throwing your wallet at it, and you're going to have to take on the challenge of doing things right the first time. Which is the whole goal of this update program here. Take everything that I've learned and just make this thing a hell of a lot better. Starting with the powertrain too, which is the main driver behind this whole update program. When I took this rig up to the UP, I definitely put it through its paces in that deep snow. It takes a lot of horsepower to go through the snow. And one thing that happened, you can kind of see right here, there was a lot of oil that leaked out the tail shaft seal, so lost a lot of my gear oil. So I grenaded first gear. Second gear is on its way out, so I'm just completely ditching this whole powertrain unit. The Toyota, it's a good motor, but I'm taking this opportunity, and I got a V-dubs over there, a 98 VW TDI 1.8. So that'll be a good rig. And the one thing we got to look at is the transaxle drive, which has a very low gear ratio. So to make up for that, I'm going to keep this Ford Ranger 5-speed, which nothing's happened to this thing, so I'm going to keep it. If it ain't broke, got to flip it around so it's in a continuous overdrive standpoint, so that way I can still get my proper gear ratio out of a transaxle drive. Plus, the one advantage of the transaxle is I now have two shafts, one that will point forward and the other that will point back, so that will give me the opportunity to put a propeller tunnel drive in the system right here, which is similar to a, what do they call it, a PTSM, that Russian amphibious transport, where it's got two propellers within the hull that are tunneled together. So that'll be really slick if I can make it work. Put some 12-inch props in there. That'll give me a hell of a lot better amphibious capability than what I got now with just the tracks trying to churn the water. Give opportunity here too to kind of give you guys some knowledge sharing. I would say that the brake differential steer, the axle, it's lived pretty well. I mean, I opened up the innards, and really, from a wear standpoint, there's really nothing wrong. As long as you get a burly enough axle for your tracked vehicle weight, you should be fine. So, but of course, what I've learned through this whole experience is the brake differential, while cheap and economic and simple, it has inherent flaws which I wasn't really happy with. One being the stability of the system for tracking straight. Of course, it's a differential, so it's always going to find the path of least resistance. So it wanders all over the place, especially at high speed. Not to mention also the power consumption and turn. It's just no bueno. So what I got plans is to move to a clutch brake steering unit. Now there's two options for that. There's either A, importing the Gas 71 steering system, which you find a lot on the Russian forums there, but that's a very expensive piece to ship all the way from Russia. Or I can go with a Honda MDX axle, but we'll get to that later. Really the only wear I found, I mean, these thrust washers right here, they look pretty good. I was surprised. I thought these were going to be worn down to the steel, but really the only wear I found was on the gear faces, you know, the gear tooth faces, which is understandable because, you know, they're always spinning around here in a differential turn. So, and the cross pin, it's held up fine. I mean, I'm rubbing my fingernail up against it and I can't feel any inherent wear on it. So, like I said, as long as you keep your vehicle within the weight limit of, like, you know, not more than 4,000 pounds for a half-ton axle, I think you should be fine. But like I said, it has its flaws, brake differential, which is why I'm going to be taking this opportunity to move up to a clutch brake steering unit, so that's in a continuous lock standpoint. Now, to give you a quick run through on the Acura MDX axle, if you're not familiar with the Honda super handling all-wheel drive system, it's a torque vectoring axle, so there's a clutch pack on each side that's electrically actuated, which is one of its downfalls compared to, say, importing the Gas 71 steering unit, which, you know, has a pedigree that goes back to the 1930s when they developed the light tanks like the T37 and whatnot, which is all mechanical, of course. But with the Acura MDX, the problem is if you lose electricity, you lose drive, so you're in tow mode pretty much, which kind of sucks. So there's definitely going to have to be some redundancies in the electrical system if I go this route. There's also the unknowns of how much torque these clutches can handle on each side without burning them up, and also the longevity of the unit. So, yeah, essentially there'll be a steel framework that goes around this, and then on the outside there'll be brake rotors and discs, so that there'll be a micro switch when you pull back the steering lateral. And after you disengage the clutch, of course, you'll hit your master cylinder, which will then actuate the brakes. So that's pretty much what I got going on here. Now, have I decided to use this yet on the Frog? I don't know. That's still up for discussion. But yeah, that was a quick update there. I'll run through what I got going on. Other kind of small projects here. Pyramid roller. Yeah, I think she'll turn out really good at the end of the day if I can get all the systems in place. So